We're live. Hey everybody, Jonathan Bobrow here, CEO of Move38 and creator of Blinks, and welcome back to another one of our lunchtime live streams. Today I'm really excited for two reasons, one of which is today and tomorrow I'm actually taking vacation. So after our live stream today, gonna turn off the computer and play some games and enjoy some time with Jamie. But the second reason why I'm super excited is we've got a special guest with us today, and our special guest is one of our former summer game design interns and creator of games and many different creative things. Jacob actually, I'm going to do this. Surovsky? Shoot. I'm blowing it on the air. Jacob, I'm going to bring you on. I can hear you now. Hey, Jacob, can everybody hear you? Oh, I'm not sure you can hear me. We've got one of those CNN moments. So I'm going to go ahead and type to Jacob and make sure he can hear me. Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. That's okay. If you, let's see, you might need to drop out of the Zoom and then pop back in. No worries. So, yeah. Totally cool. So we'll give that start a second shot. But while we're waiting for Jacob to join again, I'll give everybody a quick intro as to about Blinks. I always like to start the live stream with a quick intro to Blinks. Hey Jacob, can you hear me? Okay. Well, I'm gonna let Jacob troubleshoot that a little bit. Let's see. And while he's getting set up with his headphones, I'm going to give a quick intro to Blinks. So Blinks are the world's first smart tabletop game system. They're played on these hexagonal tiles, and each one of them knows a different game, and you know which game they know based on the label art on the back, and can teach all the other games, all the other pieces, how to play that game. And so when you want to play a game, the game we're going to be playing today is one that Jacob created, and it's called Treasure Tumble. And so I'm going to hold down that one, and when it goes into program mode, I release it, and I introduce it to all the others, and all the others are going to learn how to play that game. And so, can you hear me, Jacob? Oh, interesting. Let me see. Oh, I see. Okay, let's try this. Can you hear me now? Okay, I see. Thanks, Jacob. Okay, we're gonna try that. Jacob, can you hear me? You still can't hear me. Okay, interesting. Let's see. I'm gonna try one more thing. It's the first time we've had this issue before.
I really thought it was my computer.
Okay. Well, that's what happens when... Okay. Ouch. Sorry about that. A little bit of a technical hurdle today. Thanks everybody for sticking with us. Okay. This might be better. Can you hear me, Jacob? Actually, let's ask the live stream. Just testing 1, 2. Let's see. Can you hear me now? Well, hopefully people can hear us. I can hear you, Jonathan. Okay. And then Jacob, if you speak, can everybody hear you? I'm going to go ahead and switch views. So, Jacob, I don't know if you can hear me. Stream, can you hear me? And I think I can hear you, Jacob, if you speak. But you can't hear me, so I'm going to have to type that.
Sorry, my headphones still aren't working. I'm going to try joining with audio. I'm going to call in, try to join audio on my phone. Stand by.
Little bit of Zoom troubleshooting. There's nothing like a live stream without a little Zoom troubleshooting. In the meantime, I'm going to say hello to some of our live stream viewers. I see Zane in the audience, Lee, Jonathan West. Let's see who else. Jonas Runkle, Mike. It's good to see everybody. And if this is your first time joining the live stream, I apologize for a bit of our technical hurdles today. But it seems like Jacob will have audio in just a moment. In the meantime, let's see, while Jacob's... so I've loaded up his game.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, and we'll check with the...
I'm so sorry. I called in on my phone. None of my audio on my computer was all just cut out. I'm so sorry, guys.
That's okay. I can hear you well, and okay, Mike just replied. Okay, we're both on. Perfect.
We did it.
And you've got everybody rooting for you. Everybody said, Jacob can do no wrong. I agree with that statement wholeheartedly.
Aw, thanks, everyone. I'm sorry about that. Thanks for hanging in there.
So,
hi, good to hear you.
So, Jacob, it's awesome to have you on the live stream. I'm so excited for everybody to who hasn't met you get to meet you. But of course, many of you are familiar with Jacob as he's been on our summer game design intern live streams and one of the co-creators of Crownfall, which we've talked about. But Jacob, in your free time, how about let's start with a little bit of background, because you've been building games for Blinks on your free time outside of the internship and exploring them quite a bit. But people should kind of know, I think, a little bit more about you. You have just a really fascinating background. So tell me, like, who are you? What do you do? And what are the kind of things you make in your free time?
Yeah, well, I guess good way to start background. I spent the last 4 years getting my studying at USC. I majored in arts, technology, and business, which was this really cool multidisciplinary program. And there I was just introduced to like being a maker and an inventor and just how to create lots of really fun things. I really took to 3D printing and like toy invention and design, which is something I love so much about Blinks and creating systems of play. And yeah, something that I love to make in my spare time are little marble contraptions and mechanical toys. I have one, I guess, little things like this where you have marbles running around the path and you're pushing buttons to get them to roll around and stuff. And that was kind of where this Blinks game got started, because we had been discussing in the internship the possibility of, pointing out that Blinks, in addition to making a great tabletop game and being played horizontally, could be stacked vertically. And I started thinking about all the gravity-powered marble toys that I love so much and realizing that you could create a sort of digital Blinks version of a gravity-powered marble toy, if that's a good segue.
I think it totally is.
Sure thing. Yeah. So this as I started developing this independently, it really started as this toy. That was just, can I get gravity simulated in Blinks? Can I create different tools to redirect these marbles down to the bottom of the like marble contraption.
And so, so let me do this because I think it's abstract to talk about. Let's load up the game. So the game's called
Treasure Tumble.
Treasure Tumble.
Yeah.
And so I've already loaded it up on Blinks here, so everybody can actually see what you're seeing on the Zoom. And so when I've loaded it up, I've got a bunch of different pieces here. So what's the goal of Treasure Tumble?
So the goal of Treasure Tumble is that you are an archaeologist who has found this ancient treasure chamber, and it's full of all these amazing mechanisms and contraptions, and there's treasure literally falling from the walls. So you are trying to redirect the treasure as it falls to land in your treasure collecting bucket. But you're competing against a rival archaeologist, your friend or family who you're
Nicolas
playing with,
Cage.
and you're trying to fill your bucket before they fill theirs. So the way to get started, because right now it just sort of starts with every blink as a different mechanism. The way to get started is you'll want to take 2 blinks and here we go, and long press them. And these will become your buckets. Currently, this is what they look like. There we go. Those are your buckets. And you're going to take one of the other normal blinks and stick it right in the middle in this sort of like, I don't know, leg formation.
Yep, like this.
So this becomes your base. So if we were playing the game vertically, you'd ideally be playing the game vertically. So you could take out your little sushi roll carrying case, pop the little formation on there, and there you go. You have the pedestal for your game.
Cool.
Awesome. And then as the game starts, you start stacking up. So now we should talk about the roles of these mechanisms. So there are 4 kinds of mechanisms in this temple. The most basic one is this kind of piece that's part orange, part yellow. This will send the treasure, pretty much imagine like a funnel. So wherever the dark faces are, that's the direction it will send the treasure in. So if I put it on like this and treasure fell in through the top, it would come out through, I think this is screen left or screen right, whichever way I'm pointing.
Yep.
So it's like a funnel, and what's cool is that when you reorient it, it keeps its orientation. So now it will go straight down, out to the left, to the right. So you can strategically place it as you're building this, this treasure tower to send the treasure the way that you want it to go.
I see.
Yeah. The next piece is actually this piece right here. This is a switcher. So right now it has an orange face pointing down and a purple face pointing up. So when treasure falls through it, it'll be redirected out the side of the orange face.
I see.
So right now if treasure fell into it, it would go to the left. My screen left, I think.
Got it.
I don't know how Zoom flips things. But once treasure falls through it, it switches direction. Then the next time treasure fell through it, it would go to the right, and so on and so forth throughout the game. This is a nice tool to help you strategize pathways, because it could be that pathways change partway through. I see my cousin Zane is on here, and he said the goal is also to have fun, and that is true. The goal is always to have fun. There's 2 more pieces. These are more like, one of them's a power-up and one of them's a trap. So this is our power-up. It's 2 purple faces and 1 blue one. I don't know if the camera is what it is. When treasure falls through here, it comes out of both sides and the bottom. So it turns 1 piece of treasure into 3, which can be great, but you don't want that treasure to wind up heading towards your opponent's bucket.
I see.
And then finally, this is the death trap, 2 red faces and a white face. If treasure falls into here, it's gone. So that's you can place that piece either far away from you or right above your opponent to
so if we were
limit how much treasure gets towards them.
If we were playing Spelunky,
Sorry, what's that?
If we were playing Spelunky, the death trap is like the snake pit.
Yeah.
Okay. And let's see. So I'm gonna just experiment with this a little bit. So I see that the orange one is pointing to this direction. I'm gonna set one in, and now I've got this dark funnel pointing in this direction, and I create a marble or Sorry,
Yeah,
a
so
piece of
the
treasure.
last thing you need is a treasure spawner. That's, you'll long press the blink twice right now to get the treasure spawner. And right now you can see it's primed. It has a piece of treasure dancing on it. When you put it on there, it should drop the treasure into the bucket.
Awesome. So I think everybody can see that at home. So it fell through here and landed in the bucket that it was pointing to. And
Yeah.
so,
But now two things have happened, or kind of three. The spawner's been depleted. So now there's no more treasure in the spawner.
okay.
The way to recharge it is to remove it from the tower. But also the piece that was that funnel piece that was sending the treasure to the left has now randomized to a different piece.
Okay.
So now, as we're playing the game, the way that we play is we remove chunks of the tower and reassemble the tower to our benefit and our opponent's misbenefit each turn, and then place the spawner back on top to drop treasure back to the tower.
So what would be, so this piece here, so what would my next move be?
So your next move, well, you got lucky. You have a funnel still as your piece. So I would recommend removing both the funnel and the spawner. I would separate them. Reorient. If you're playing for the bucket on the other side, I would put your funnel above the other bucket, straight down.
Oh, I
or
see.
whichever way you want.
Like this.
So that would point off to the right. Yeah. There we go. And then if you put the spawner on top of that, now the treasure will fall straight in, and you've scored another point.
I see. Cool.
But if I wound up with a death trap, I would put it right over my opponent in the hopes of blocking treasure from getting to them.
I see. And in this case, it also looks like I still got a funnel.
Yeah.
So there was a chance there that might have become something else as the treasure tumbles through it. Cool.
Yeah.
And so I have the opportunity to either rearrange or also add in pieces, right? So this is the tower's getting bigger.
Right now we're demoing with like one or two extra pieces. But in the full game, the game works in two phases. First, you and your opponent construct a tower together because you're archaeologists, so you got to find clues and reassemble the tower. But then, on each turn, you can remove, and it's a bit like Jenga. You can remove a chunk from the tower with one hand, as many pieces you can remove with one hand, and reconstruct them on the tower to build a new path. And something that I'm working on adding in that I'd love to demo in the future and share is that currently I'm planning, because it's all ancient structures that are very delicate, whenever you remove a chunk from the tower, it's going to start crumbling. So you will have a limited amount of time to put it back on the tower and reassemble a path. If you don't get the pieces on in time, they'll turn into death traps, which is not very helpful for you. So it's sort of like the goal is for it to be a really like quick thinking puzzle game. So it's a puzzle strategy game, but you don't get all day to plan your move. You remove your pieces and reassemble really fast.
Very, very cool. So, so currently, I see. So the falling mechanism, it's kind of right. There's all of a sudden like a hustle to get it back into. Cool. I like that because I think I was always curious. Like, you're stacking them. You mentioned to me, you're like, you don't have to play it vertically. You can play it flat on the table. So because gravity is determined by the buckets, you can play this game flat.
It's not like an accelerometer.
And that would be maybe the way I would play with my cousins who are like 9 and 10 is I'd first get them familiar with, okay, this is how the treasure tumbles. And then once we're getting good at it, I can be okay, now we actually build a tower. And if the tower falls, you got to put it back together. And if you don't put it back together quick enough, this tower is not going to be a good tower to live in or find treasure in.
If you're the archaeologist responsible for knocking over the tower, there are penalties. There could be point deductions and all sorts of bummer stuff. So
Awesome.
yeah, it's I think it's fun to think about how, I mean, in play testing this, you know, in your mind, you'll build, like, whenever we stack it on a table, we make these very narrow towers, right? Because we'd assume that that's how, you know, you'd probably wind up building a tower vertically with the blinks. But I found that when we're playing actually vertically, we wind up making these really interesting, fairly spread out horizontal structures. Like, they're very precarious. So it adds a lot to the strategy, because it's, you know, there is a lot of sort of Jenga-like thinking at play, in that you've got to keep the tower balanced. You can't put too much here or there. You can't add or remove stuff too quickly, otherwise you're likely to knock it over.
That's cool. I love that. So I feel like everybody's gotten a little bit of a chance. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna build. I've got 12 blinks here, maybe 13, since I added your game. You know, this game you can play with 6 blinks, which is cool, but I think with 12 or more,
that's when it starts to shine.
It starts to really, yeah. So I'm going to use these 13. I've got some of the community set ones here on the side. Let's just build out something really cool. So might as well, since I've got them. So I've got a bucket here, and that becomes a spawner. So I'm just going to try and set up like a cool tumble. And let's see. I think this is.
I think at this scale too, like 2 spawners is a good. I think it'll be good to have 2, because it'll allow for, you know, not having to always play with this. Once you start removing chunks and putting them back on, if there's 2 spawners, you won't always be forced to take the same section of tower. There'll be some choice involved.
So let's see.
Oh, I like this a lot.
And so then I need like gravity. So my buckets are going to be, well, so there's another bucket. So, I need to be careful about that.
Oh yeah, the orientation.
So if I do this, and then that, and then I can put these 2 spawners on, like here, and whoa, rad. So you can see, so I got, in the worst spot, I got a death trap.
No!
So I'm going to have to rearrange it a little bit, and then...
Yeah. Now, spawners will only drop out their bottom face, so you might have to, reorient some of those.
I see. Okay.
But hey, that looks great.
Cool. And so you're getting to see the treasure tumble through these structures, reorient, and then if I remove the spawner and replace it, get to see them tumble again. Wow. So it's totally worth checking out Jacob's other work, because Jacob 3D prints these amazing marble contraptions that are just beautiful systems. And it looks like for some reason, there we go. My phone just fell asleep. So let me just get that. There we go. These beautiful marble contraptions that can be rearranged in all these ways. And I love that you took something that, like, like the back of your hand. Like, I don't know anybody who's built more marble structures, like, just, and I feel like it's really neat how you've managed to incorporate these kinetic elements of gameplay where there's falling pieces, but then you're also dealing with the physicality of the blinks. I think people are just going to really love this.
It's been fun to... Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like, what's an aspect, what are you most excited about for somebody to play Treasure Tumble?
I think definitely, like, thinking about that physicalization of that kind of play. And, you know, I think it's really fun to be handed those pieces and have to really quickly reassemble a structure. I think it's so satisfying. And so that's been a big, gameplay goal, is just having players being able to map out paths and reassemble them and have to watch them the kinetic display like as the reward for having successfully planned it out. Also, I mean, there's still definitely a lot of development and updates that will likely happen, but I'm really proud of these graphics. I learned a lot about graphics and animation for Blink's working on Crownfall, and I've been thinking a lot about like color scheme and, you know, how to make everything look visually cohesive. So I'm happy with, I found this like, you know, this reddish shade of orange and this very blue green. And I was inspired actually by a marble toy that I have, the Tomy. I could grab it real quick.
Sure.
Here, I'll grab it. I can take my phone. This marble toy called Pitfall became a really big inspiration. It's a little dark, but here all the marbles run around this course, and I was just inspired by the yellow, orange, and green color scheme. I put it on the sticker design, and also put it on the graphics because I thought it had sort of that like retro mechanical feel to it. So.
And I'm gonna grab. Let's see. I think I have the ROM art for. Nah, it'll be. We'll get it posted soon. But there's the sticker art is really beautiful, and yeah. So I feel like we're almost at our 30 minutes. We can go a little bit extra because of the delay, but I feel like I should share that Treasure Tumble is everybody's very well aware. Mark their calendars for October 20th. The Blink's game system and the Epic Adventure expansion pack is going to be going live on Kickstarter. We're of course following up on all of the community set games are shipping in the first weeks of October. Everything's moving forward really well. There were some interesting hurdles with sushi roll cases, but we're gonna, those are still on their way. But if you want to find out how to get Treasure Tumble, October 20th, the Epic Adventure set, Treasure Tumble is going to be launching with that set of games. And so, yeah, like some of the graphics, as you mentioned, are being fine-tuned. All these things that are just like, but it's already got a really cool feel to it. And I think if you're looking for a strategic game on Blinks, I feel like this is a really strategic game, right?
Yeah, definitely lots of, knowing how the pieces work and how to best use them to your advantage is important for a victorious tumble, but also just fun to play around with, build really cool towers like you've been building and make those contraptions work out.
And I feel like we did this with Speed Racer. We thought some people may play the game, but other people might just want to set up a racetrack. Do you feel that way with Treasure Tumble as well? Is that a...
I do, yeah. That's definitely been something I've been considering to talk about the development process a bit, like there were definitely a lot of challenges in, coming up with this thing that was really just a toy and then figuring out, okay, how do I turn this into a game that has, real strategy and real challenge to it. But now as I've hit that point, making sure that can I fit physically in the code a way to still play with it like a toy? Because I think that's really important. I think that it's important to give people the flexibility to invent their own rules or play it their own way. I'm hoping that I can get like a way to maybe not randomize the pieces or have more control over how you set up your... Whoa, that's going wild.
That's so cool. It's so awesome. It keeps spawning treasure, and this is so cool to watch.
I think, that's something that's like, currently that's a bug, but I think it's cool and it should be a feature. So figuring out a way to make that happen in a way that the player controls it, because obviously you don't want the treasure infinitely spawning if you're playing a competitive strategy game. but you absolutely should have it spawning if it's just being used as a visual toy.
Yeah,
so
this is...
expect that in the final version in a more controlled way.
This is, yeah, I love it. I think that's the thing that I'm so excited about, is these kind of chain reactions, and yeah, it's really cool to see this. And if you're a developer, of course, you can follow along on the process. Jacob's been sharing every one of the builds on the forum, and you're welcome to comment in there, make suggestions. And it's an open source game, so you can even try your own, make your own modifications to it. So Lee in the comments says, bugs are just undocumented features.
It's really true.
So I'm really excited about this game, Jacob, and it's also so cool to be able to take something that was just kind of you noodling around in a passion project, and then it popping up in the forum. We're like, that Gravity game, we don't have one of those. I think people would really like it, and yeah, so it's really been a neat opportunity to see this game come together from a toy exploration to our epic adventure expansion. So
yeah, it's been so fun developing it, and learning about Blinks through this, obviously through the internship firsthand, and now getting to develop and learn what it is to be a developer has been super fun. So thank you.
Well, I feel like we're just at the end of our stream, and so what I'd like to do is everybody, if you're not aware, we've been doing weekly giveaways for Blinks core sets, and we're really excited to do this again this week. Of course, if you haven't subscribed, be sure to subscribe down below, ring the bell, and share our social media posts. The way everybody who's entering this raffle is you enter by sharing our social media post, signing up for our mailing list, and for every single friend you share our post with, it gives you another entry into the contest. And so I'm going to give a quick shout out to all the entries, or a number of the entries. This week's entries, welcome back Jonas Runkle, Debbie McDaniel, Allison McDaniel, Jonathan West, Brian Chisholm, Devin Bruno, Ariel. I'm going to go first name, Christina, Shannon, Lucy, Roxanne. Lots of people, lots of shares. It ups your chances to share with lots of people. And so I'm going to roll the dice. Rolling the dice. Should we do a drum roll?
Yeah.
The winning number is 34. And 34. Ha! Awesome. The winner for this week is Jonathan West. Congratulations, Jonathan West. A huge congratulations. Jonathan West is also a game designer, made one of the 2020 summer games, so congrats. It totally pays off to share with lots of people. So I look forward to doing next week's raffle. And I'm looking forward to everybody subscribing, following along, sharing along, and letting everybody know that October 20th. And if you don't have your Blinks yet, you can get the core and expansion games on our website at move38.com. So once again, huge congrats to our raffle winner. And looking forward to seeing you all next Thursday. And actually, can I give 2 more quick shout outs? So Jacob, all of the summer design interns, we got to make great introductions. I'm looking forward to our future live streams coming up. But we've got our newest team member that I really just wanted to give a big shout out to, Mary Georgescu. She joined us full-time, and you'll see her on live streams coming up. And so I just wanted to give a big warm welcome to her, and our recent graphic design intern, Elizabeth. And so I'll make sure that we get them on for a live stream soon. So thanks again for joining our lunchtime live stream. Jacob, thank you so much for making this awesome game and sharing it with everybody. And also put in the chat where people can follow you. I think everybody should also follow your Instagram. It's so much fun to follow along. So
Yeah, you can follow it at Cool Things by Jacob, all one word, over on Instagram. That's where I put all my projects and processes. So.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for joining the live stream, and we'll see you next week. Later, Jacob.
See ya.